Hey,
You're live.
You're not-
We're gonna need tag, so-
you weren't.
We're live.
Did you find it? You didn't find this name tag?
I just give Julian put them out and I gave, he had the leftovers.
Sure, okay. Okay, so what we will do. Let me look.
I have those.
Just go up with this too, if you would like. Yeah. Okay, are we online? Okay, I will call the June 26th meeting of the 2024 meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission to order. And we will do roll call. Commissioner Hanson,
Present.
Commissioner Rich, sorry, present. Councilmember Knox. Here.
TJ.
TJ, we should fill in the full name, and Hannah.
Here.
And, Assistant Director Patrick. Okay, we do not have a quorum, but I think we will move toward the reports that we have, and looking through it, we will wait to hear from citizens, but are there any written communications?
No written communications.
Okay. We will not do the minutes. Why don't we do the introduction of Hannah?
Sure. So, for those of you that, know Marvin had left us probably about 2 months ago. And we had put out seeking applications and we went through, we had quite a few people. We narrowed that down to 4 or 5 people to interview, and our finalists that we were, really excited to join our team was Hannah Samorka. Hannah is now taking over the role vacated by Marvin. She's the recreation supervisor. She has a background in fitness and sports, which is exactly what that role is going to be overseeing. She's going to be working with Julian and really helping get our fitness center to where we want it to be. She has her undergrad in PE from Linwood University and a master's in athletic and activity administration from William Woods University. And she has a passion for sports, coaching, health and wellness, and in her free time, she likes to exercise, create new recipes for meal prepping, plays a variety of sports, and she's also excited to be here with us. And we couldn't be more excited to have her join our team and get our fitness center in the direction we want, and coach Julian, our sports department, to keep on growing in a direction, taking in a direction we want to. So we're very excited to have her here. And Hannah, if you'd like to say something, you're more than welcome to. I don't want to put you on the spot, but she was also at council last night, accepting our proclamation for July as Park and Recreation Month. So she's in her 7th day. She's already hit the Council Parks and Rec Commission circuit. So we're happy that she's here and was willing to spend a couple of evenings getting to meet everybody. So we're very happy with that.
So good to have you with us.
Thank you so much, thank you.
And what is your sport? What are your sports that you,
My sports-
passions?
We're soccer and golf.
Okay.
So soccer, no longer really pursuing too much anymore, bad knees now, but golf is definitely more of a sport.
Sue is your,
I know, I think we're getting we got Julian plays golf, I play golf, Anna plays, so we're just one short of a foursome. So maybe we have also been interviewing this week for our building maintenance technician, and we have 2 really great candidates and one that we're going to be offering the position to. So that's another exciting news for us, is that we're finally filling some vacancies and much needed time for us, because we are a lot going on. And I know everybody may know TJ, but TJ was never formally introduced at the Parks and Rec Commission. She is the recreation program supervisor, so she supervises all the programs that go on here, as well as the doing some of the special events, camps, and supervises Jill, who oversees Camp O and all the other spring break and winter break camps. So the playground as well, so she does a lot. She also puts together our activity guide as well, so she does a lot, wears a lot of hats around here. But we're very lucky to have both of them here, and
So absolutely. Well,
Hey.
welcome.
do great work.
And I've seen your work, so it's wonderful. So do we have a cooperative arrangement with U City, with Ruth,
Regarding
with
like
the
in what
golf
capacity?
course?
No, we don't. I know that, I know the only other municipality that does have an arrangement with U City did so because they donated some money to fund their driving range when it was installed.
Okay,
So that,
okay,
so I know that from previous roles that I've worked, but yeah, I believe that we had kind of talked briefly about that today with, working with other municipalities too, and
good.
I kind of told her how TJ and I were talking about, and Hannah as well, about how we can do that with other cities like Greenmore, and
Sure.
so I think we finally have some people in here who can kind of push that across
Okay.
the finish line and get some of those relationships not only, built, but to thrive and do some things with other cities, because there are cities right around us that have a lot of things we don't have, and we have a lot of things that they don't have. So it's a natural fit to kind of help each other out.
So if you need some help, I have some contacts on council of U City, so.
All right.
Anyway, let's move along. Let's talk about park projects.
Sure. Hannah, you were free to go unless you would like
Yeah.
to stay for the whole thing. And Hannah's had a couple late nights here already, so you're welcome to.
Yes, well, thank you so much. I look forward to
Thank you, Hannah.
more.
Yes, thank you. Have a great evening.
You as well.
You as well.
Okay, park projects.
All right, so we have great news about the Warson Park splash pad. It's done, the concrete's done, the concrete is really starting to blend in.
Right.
Right on the heels of that project completely wrapping up, our parking lot now looks like this.
Yeah.
They started on Monday, they ripped out, and when I say ripped out, I know Beverly had talked about this at our last meeting. They basically reclaim everything that's there, and they use it to make the base for the new asphalt. So it's an economical way to do it. That also saves them time without, hauling off dump trucks for the stuff. And it makes it, more affordable for us. So they've torn up the whole lot already. And they took off all the stuff that they don't need, because they did tear up some of the islands, as, we had talked about in the drawings. And it's a pretty interesting process how they do it. But basically, there's this large
Yeah, I saw them unloading that the
yeah,
other day.
it's great. Looks like you see it on the moon. It's
Timeline for completion.
so this should take about 2 weeks, and that's weather permitting. Obviously, we got a little rain last night and today, but it is going well. I mean, they got done with the big part that they need to do. They were hauling out the leftovers that they aren't going to use, and they are going to keep going. I believe the only day they're going to take off next week is the 4th.
Yeah.
So I talked to Bruce from Public Works to confirm that they weren't gonna, not be there on like the 5th or maybe the 3rd. So he believes that they're gonna just be there every day but the 4th. So it's going well.
So are we taking out when I was over there, both sides were still, the loop is still going to be in there?
Correct. So the
Okay.
loop is staying because it's a future project to take that out. We just didn't have enough money to add that into the project, to this particular project, but we also have some plans to do some stuff. And it's also a nice staging area for our park staff who are
Sure.
put out of their normal parking spots too. So we also have moved some equipment over to that far side
Right.
of the loop.
On the east side?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And that, it's exciting. That parking lot, for those of you that haven't been up there in the few months, it was bad, and it was made even worse by.
It was a gravel road.
It was, and all the heavy duty machinery for the demo of the old building, all the stuff in the park, what was there got even worse because of all that stuff, so.
Good.
Sorry, didn't mean to play that one again. to kind of give you guys a timeline of what they're thinking for the lower lot, that one's probably gonna need more like 3 to 4 weeks. So that kind of tentative that they would start after 2 weeks of working on the upper lot. And that they would start around July 8th. Obviously, that's dry weather, everything going as planned, which these things tend to have some bumps in the road,
Really?
so to speak, so. We wanted, the reason we started up there is because we wanted to get that splash pad open. I mean, it's summer.
Sure.
And, you know, I would love to see this lot done and it could probably, but it's gonna take a little longer. And we've got parking here, up there. You kind of need to have that parking done and all those lines, all that stuff. So it'll be nice. And then we can open the splash pad as soon as that lot's done.
Good.
But you may, if you were looking out here, you could see all the flags in the ground. They had a company come out and mark all the utilities and pipes and electrical lines and all that stuff, so that when they're tearing out the old parking lot down there, that they're not, you know, gonna do any damage to stuff that's already there.
So by Labor Day, we'll have it in.
Yeah, I hope
No.
before that.
Yeah, no, I understand, but
We were actually talking about coffee with the mayor because, you know, we need, if, let's say a lot of people come with coffee with the mayor next month, that
yeah,
parking may be an issue. So we're trying to figure out a plan to use the drive a little
yeah,
more.
we'll deal with it.
Yeah, I think people are creative enough with their parking, as long as nobody's blocking anybody in, I think we can survive that. So moving on to the Centennial Greenway, they finally have had a decent stretch of dry weather, but then also dealing with extended heat, but these guys don't really stop working in the heat. So they were out there, they had made a ton of progress on not only just, you know, putting that concrete out for the trails, but also a lot of the bioretention ponds. And if you haven't walked the portion that's been done already, we've cut down quite a few trees out there as well that were ash trees that we were taking down. And we had contracted that out to take those down. So I mean, it's a different look going back there, and it's going to be exciting when that thing's done and they link up together. So
I noticed the other day that they were working. Are they working from the west to the east, or because I was over on Napoleon and it seemed like they weren't working over there. Are they working on this side of the?
yeah, so part of it is where they come in to work on different parts. So sometimes it looks like they're, you know, they have to basically enter through that side of the park to get to the other part. So some of the parts that are nearing completion, they also have to utilize that to get to the.
So is that picture over there where they're removing the forms, is that behind Huron?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of progress going on with that, and the weather's cooperating with them, but they're well versed in doing this, and they've done this in a lot of communities, and for as much trail as they're putting down and as much as they're doing, it's gone pretty smoothly. You know, they've worked with some of the residents and made sure that they're aware of what's going on and communicate that stuff with them.
You got any feedback from the Indian Meadows people?
No.
Okay. What, do they have a proposed completion date?
Oh, gosh, I believe that it was supposed to be this winter,
Okay.
was my recollection. And if I'm wrong, I'll throw myself on the.
No,
sword.
no, that's,
For completion to Dealman?
It's for the connection from Morrison to King.
Yeah, I thought the date they gave was February of 2025.
is it that, okay.
So winter, right?
Yeah,
That falls in the
Winter.
this winter, right?
And then it was 9 months to a year to do the next section.
Yeah. And
So it was gonna be completed, I think the target was end of 2026.
Yep.
Right.
I think you're spot on.
They were talking about because of the weather now, that they're really moving, with the concrete.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, these guys do fantastic concrete too.
They
I
did.
mean, it looks good. The
They
grades are
purchased
perfect.
times.
Yeah, and they just march in there and do their work, and they've got people just going in and out, different
Yeah.
contractors. And
If the weather cooperates, it's not a problem.
Yeah,
And it's minor detail.
That's been good.
I'm sure the residents,
Good for that.
I'm sure the residents around the trail will be elated for this to wrap up, because that's, quite a bit going on in their backyard.
Right, yes.
But-
The next one won't be as much
Correct,
of
yeah.
that, because it doesn't impact the residents.
But also, it's gonna be a beautiful thing to have a trail right in your backyard that you can, go to, a lot of all of that on. And not have to fight traffic,
Mhm.
cars and sidewalks, so.
And my understanding is the police now have electric bikes.
They do.
They've got two of them. Yep.
They're pretty incredible. He came up here for, one of our events on one, and I saw him at Olivet Night Out as well. Those things are slick. I mean, they're basically motorcycles.
Yeah.
So Jim, we're getting into talking about the capital. improvement.
Let's skip over that for right now. Let's go on to the 6-month review of,
TJ will be elated with that. That means she gets to.
okay.
Get her out of here, here as well. All right, so I'm gonna kind of go over some of the stuff that we typically go over, and then TJ and I kind of put together some other stuff, like we get bored telling you the same thing.
Sure.
Plus, it's just numbers on a slideshow, and, we wanted to also share with you some other things. We had put out a survey. I mean, all the work that we do here isn't great if we're not circling back around and talking to our members, whether they be residents or non-residents. So we wanted to conduct a survey, and she'll talk a little bit about that and the results and what our action plans are from there. And, where do we go? What does our future look like? Where can we improve? What are we doing that's worked? What are we doing that, needs some improvement? So I'll kind of talk about, the first few, and then TJ is gonna step in and take over some. So, we've kind of been pretty steady in that 50 to 65 additional members each month, and a couple each day is pretty substantial. That's somebody coming in here starting a monthly or an annual membership, and we're retaining them as well. So some people have asked me if this includes people that have stoppers. The only thing we've had, they've been pretty much offsetting. If we lose one, we gain one. And we've had some people recently like pausing theirs because they're gonna go spend, they're somewhere up north or a variety of things like that, but they still have their membership too, so. But we're still doing really well with memberships. We are starting some new things to get new members in here with our fall brochure that we're working on currently as well.
Are we doing anything outside the Olivet community?
As far as like programs or?
No, to get memberships?
Mhm.
We're gonna send out, a postcard to like surrounding Creve Coeur and Ladue, with like a free visit, and then, my plan is to have like a QR code that will link to our activity guide, because it just isn't cost effective to send that out to all those communities, so it'll be a postcard.
And are you working with Parks and Recreation in those areas, or they don't have really community
They
centers?
don't, really have,
Yeah, Ladue does not have
Any
a
other
typical community center, and Creve Coeur has the ice rink golf.
Okay, so they don't, so we're not competing, we're adding to.
Yeah, I would say if anything, we're all gonna overlap, We've got people that, live in Clayton that are here because variety of different reasons, so. And also it's a proximity to where you work too. I feel like if you work in this area, it's easy to come over here and work out before, during, or after work too.
Now we're doing 39 North and some of those.
Yep.
Okay,
And that's kind of one of our goals, and we'll kind of talk about it a little later, is corporate memberships too, so. But Renew Active is still growing. It's still one of our big reasons that people come here. But our resident households is also starting to pick up, and it's would actually surpass our Renew Active members, because this is households, so there could be up to 5 people for every single one membership that's on there. So that's a lot of people. So some households will have 5, some will just have.
that long blue line is, which one is that?
That's
60
Renew Active.
plus.
That's Renew Active.
Do we have a status on silver,
People what?
silver sneakers? Do we have a status?
So we had met with them, and Beverly and I had a conversation. we asked for some numbers back from them on like the saturation market and how many Silver Sneakers participants there were in this area. And it was not even a third of what it is from Radioactive. There is an opportunity for us to have both. But TJ and I were actually just talking about this afternoon, that there are not a lot of facilities that have both. But it's something that, you know, we have to kind of weigh the benefit for us to have both, because essentially what our fear was is that a lot of these Silver Sneakers and Radioactive, like it's pickleball is a main reason why they go and they join these facilities, because they can do so at a no charge to them up front. So we have a pretty large group of pickleball players. If we started Silver Sneakers, you know, would we get people from outside our saturation market to come in and play pickleball here because they're getting squeezed out of other
Well, I'll
places?
give you a little feedback. So on Olivet Night Out, standing in my street with my neighbors, 3 of my neighbors were asking if there's Silver Sneakers because they want to use the fitness center, not because they want pickleball.
Yeah, and I think we've heard from the same
So that,
2 to 3
just to
people.
give you
Yeah,
percentages, we have 25 houses on the street, and 3 of them. And there were only like 9 houses represented in the conversation.
I bet you I can tell you their names too. Because it is very, you know,
So I think you may be partially right, but I think there's another segment
yeah,
that want the fitness center more than, they might use pickleball too, but they're really looking for a fitness center.
yeah, and I think that that's part of our analysis is trying to figure that out is,
So that's
You know,
just a little data
yeah.
point from all that night out.
certainly, no, I mean, and I did not hear that in our all event night outs, but I do,
You're
glad
probably,
to hear that.
you're probably not the same demographic our neighborhood is.
Hey, I just went where my map told me to go.
That,
Whether it was-
did you get any feedback? Did you do all that night out?
Yeah, I did all that, but we didn't talk about,
No one brought it up, sort of.
no one brought it up, but I brought it up because I have Silver Sneakers. And I've asked, and I guess, Anthem wouldn't talk to you guys or whoever. it is.
So when we initially opened this building, we had those conversations and Silver Sneakers wouldn't respond to us because we weren't open,
Right.
which seems silly to me. Like we were obviously opening a rec center but they didn't, hold that conversation. In the last month and a half, they reached back out to us and opened that dialogue.
Well, I suspect they're getting phone calls.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we have to
Probably make phone calls.
So,
And then I pay my membership and I'll continue to pay my membership. But I have friends of mine that don't live in, Olivet,
But they'll.
and they come here free. And I have to pay.
yeah,
And a lot of people, I'm sure,
Would do that.
would do the same thing, but.
it's a good point.
So that's why it was on my list to follow up, because I know she tried and they weren't interested. Um,
Yeah, because they were the first ones that
Yeah.
we reached out to.
Sure.
Yeah,
And
But if we can continue to put pressure on them by asking people to
The call.
call from both sides.
yeah,
yeah.
so the good thing is that dialogue has now been at least connected. I
And
think
there's a third one, right?
what's that?
There's a third one, right?
It may be also under the same umbrella as Renew Active. It's
One pass.
One Pass.
Yeah.
It's another United Healthcare
Yeah.
type plan that also enables you to get in.
Yeah.
But you can be like, I think one of our One Pass, it was like 21 years old. So there's different.
Well, it's through Medicaid.
Yeah, through Medicare.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily
Or it could be Medicare and they're,
Well, the Medicare, yes, the
but they
Renew
could be younger
Active,
on Medicare.
the Medicaid is
Yeah,
it's
it's
one
Medicaid.
pass.
so
And they pay us per visit?
per visit, yeah.
What is that?
It's around $6 per visit.
Okay.
And that's the other thing too, is that there are different levels with the Silver Sneakers reimbursement, and it's not as robust and simplistic
Yeah.
as Renew Active. And when it comes down to, we also have to have some kind of internal
Systems.
things set up.
Sure.
in place because with Renew Active, we struggled with providing, the reports that we needed to make sure that we were getting scans from these people every time they came, so.
And I think that if you stop doing Renew Active, you wouldn't have the people here either. They wouldn't continue to come.
I agree.
So you have to have both. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna work 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's an
And-
either
and-
or. It's not an either or.
And no, and so, Anthem premiums are cheaper than United Healthcare, so
Yeah,
that's.
it's certainly an interesting dynamic and
I don't really.
I think
All right,
I don't.
we were talking today about, if we knew of any rec facilities that actually had.
It's not an advantage
And
program.
they're really,
there's a couple.
we think, which ones you know?
Heman Park, I think.
Okay.
I think they are.
No, they do see.
And I'm not, Clayton, I think just has one.
Clayton just said
One, but I think each city has.
Yeah.
she was saying that maybe
Point at all the time.
that's
I
all.
believe that's true too.
So I think
That's the
having
other, I
that
know.
discussion with them too, but
And I
Yeah.
think Chesterfield just has one.
okay.
So do you know why, so if you only have one?
Typically it's a reimbursement. If you get a good reimbursement plan with,
That and the management, right?
Yeah.
There are different processes you have to have in place.
there
The
is.
question is, do you wanna bother with the process for both of them? Right, so
Yeah.
there's internal processes and
So you have to verify
all that stuff that,
everybody that comes in, you have to verify their,
and it's not universal.
Yeah, and the people that have Renew Active, they belong to all kinds of different places.
yeah, but that's the same thing with Silver Sneakers. It's,
Really?
you can
They're
join
not
30.
limited.
Well, the
Correct.
fitness center over in, shopping center over here is Silver Sneakers, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so but there's definitely
Oh,
people,
really?
they just,
Ones up here.
Yeah.
they go out and they get a membership here, there and everywhere because they can.
Right,
At no cost to them.
Yeah.
correct.
Get over there with.
And it's just, I guess,
Dialysis place.
I don't know why you need to do that, but maybe it's nice to,
But like Rich
Change it.
said, a lot of it is social.
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
if your friends are working out once a week and you wanna go to fitness center A,
Yeah,
you got workout buddies going to a different one day a week. It's a social activity.
yeah, that group that plays pickleball here, I mean, they're strong. There's a lot of people.
Because even
Yeah.
the one group that comes, I think on Monday mornings, they rotate, right? It's the same
Yeah,
group
they
at
could-
different pickleball courts on different days.
yeah, we've had about 16.
At least that's a
They
conversation.
go there, they go to the one over by Plaza Front.
And not all of them are really active. There are like.
Yeah,
members.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
members, yeah.
So it just, I think it's flexibility from our standpoint that we should, if we can, fiduciarily manage it. We should be as open as we can to the different programs. That's just my opinion.
Exactly why we looked into it and are gonna continue to look into it, because like you said, I think just because other facilities don't, they may only have one. If we can do both and find some, actually a way to do it internally, but also for the financial aspect.
Sure,
of it,
yeah.
I think we should do it, so. Because we're gonna eventually not get 60 members every month.
Right.
You're gonna hit plateaus, and the only way to
Yeah.
kind of elevate those is to do things like adding Silver Sneakers or thinking outside the box, so.
So with these groups coming in, do we have capacity issues?
I would say pickleball is pretty self-regulating, but no, pickleball, it's mainly just because we only have 3 courts.
Sure.
So that kind of creates a little bit of a logjam, but,
They like rotate.
yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Yeah.
like you said, a social
Sure.
thing.
Yeah.
So you're not playing, you're out there eating. They have food there every day. It's awesome. I'm like.
I need to learn how to play pickleball.
Yeah, they got pizza up there.
Oh,
It's great.
kind
I
of
mean,
defeats
they-
the purpose, doesn't it?
Not if it's social.
Right.
I've always said, working at a rec center, you get more leftover food. Like, people just give stuff to you all the time because it's leftover from rentals and, cooking
Right.
classes and stuff. So we are
I,
one well-fed staff.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Right. So our memberships, sold, I still like to highlight this, our residents, are still taking up the huge part of it, and, obviously, that's what we want, we're here to serve our residents, and, you know, that's still a large portion of our membership and it continues to grow and we continue to get them in here. Rentals, I wanted to include, one of the things that I've done before is I never included like internal reservations that happen in these rooms. And those internal reservations are for things like programs, things like our meetings, like we have, I think last month we had, it was like 136 multi-purpose room rentals, but that doesn't include the fact that we do other things where we hold meetings, classes, other internal functions that we do here too. So I wanted to kind of include those so you know that, you know, we're renting these for all kinds of purposes, some for internal city run events or for our own programs, for things like that. So I wanted to include those. Playground rentals as well. I wanted to include that in there. But we've also had a little uptick in rentals for party add-ons and things like that. So playground is being very well used, especially when this heat is hitting. And we've got people coming in. TJ coordinated an awesome,
Olive Explorer.
thank you. I wanted to call it readers for some reason. Olive Explorers, which is a program that's held in the playground, and
It's like, it's a story time.
thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
so Olive Explorers, it's a weekly story time and craft and time to play for 2 to 10-year-olds. It's usually like 2 to 6-year-olds. But today I worked with the Olivet Fire Department and they came in and read some books. And unfortunately it was raining, so we couldn't go see the truck, but they brought in equipment and answered questions and brought little goodie bags. It was a really good event.
We have a good picture to show you.
And there was a picture on the council minutes or the council packet of someone reading a book to.
Oh, yes, yeah,
Yes.
that's part of, yeah, the weekly, yeah.
And are the 206, are those outside of what you're doing with your guide and all of that, or does the 206 include?
They include some of the programs that we have in here.
And are we getting corporate stuff at all?
Yeah, that includes those too. And,
Okay.
and the thing is about 206, you're like, oh, that doesn't seem like a lot for being open for 6 months, but some of those are 5 to 7 hours long.
Okay,
Those rentals.
and that's 206 in 6-month time period? Okay,
And like I said, some are all day rentals.
sure.
So one of them could be 7, 8 hours long, so.
And Patrick, on some of these rentals, do they have to come in here or can they do that all online, like the parks?
So what has typically happened, and we recently, like in the last week, kind of switched this. Peyton, who coordinates and books all those rentals, she was giving a tour to almost every single person that came in and booked this place.
Yeah.
6 months, you know, you kind of, she's still gonna do those ones that have never been here before, but she's not doing it for every single group that wants to come in here and just hold a 10-person business meeting with a setup like this.
So,
So now they have the ability to go book them online, but we're gonna kind of update the pictures and what we offer and what the setups can be. So she has a little better information out there so that we don't have to do all these tours every time where you come in and
Yeah.
see where the outlets are.
Sure.
And stuff. We can kind of relay that prior to.
are we doing any sales calls to businesses around?
Not
To
currently.
development department, our education departments and.
Not currently. It's certainly a good idea, something we could think about. It's been a kind of wanted to see what this place is gonna be before we really started to look outward for everything. We wanted to kind of figure out how to use this building in the right way, but we definitely have a lot going on, you know, during the day as far as in the meeting rooms with Oasis. Our relationship with Oasis is they hold programs here and then we get a revenue share of the
Okay.
programs that they run, so.
Okay.
And then kitchen rentals, we've also had some more kitchen rentals, both from caterers, from other groups that have rented the room and need that as a staging area for food. So that's good. We're starting to see a little more usage of that. I think we are looking for different ways to utilize that kitchen in ways that, you know, different ways to envision it being used. And I think obviously cooking classes are something that we really want to focus on coming up.
So as far as the kitchen is concerned, or with finding anybody using them as a ghost kitchen or anything like that?
No, I think that would be pretty noticeable if somebody did that. But I think more or less it's about, we don't want to turn the keys over to somebody with a lot of valuable equipment in there.
Sure.
Don't want anything to be used incorrectly. We recently started making sure that everything in there is locked up. So that, because what's happening is if somebody rents a kitchen, they think they rent everything.
The
So,
wine cooler too.
yeah, so, we made sure to lock that stuff up.
Sure.
And keep it, so we can use that stuff when we need it for our program.
Yeah.
So. And then, the gym rentals, we still haven't kind of got out of our comfort zone to do like a big trivia night in there yet, mainly because, putting a lot of the tables and chairs on the gym floor, we don't wanna, but, that is the one thing we get a lot of requests from is from large rentals and doing the trivia night. So that's something, for us to discuss going forward to see if holding something like that would be, yes.
How much more room is there in there than if we open this whole thing?
They can hold about 159 people in these two rooms.
This
And
is 128 seated with
Yes.
the round tables, and then we say,
All three open.
with all three open,
Okay.
and then we say 200 in the gym.
Okay.
so that's kind of that sweet spot for a trivia night. And I think, could we do it? Yes, I think we would want to make sure that we have a proper plan in place, possibly some floor coverings. If people are gonna eat and drink in our gym. So it's kind of one of those things you don't want to scratch the brand new car yet.
No,
But, at some point, those are revenue streams that we haven't tapped and, maybe it's something that is worth looking into, because especially with our hours on the weekends, on Saturday, we close at 6, that's a perfect time to get in, give, an opportunity for somebody to come in here and set up a trivia night at 7:30 that night, so. All right, now TJ gets to talk, so you don't have to listen to me in a little while.
All right, so I'm gonna start talking about our daily fee admission. So these are people coming in with no membership and they're just paying that day use fee. So you can see a few spikes here in the graph. And one in January and then one in May. And so for that January spike, not only is in the yellow is non-resident youth, but you can also see there's a slight spike in our other categories as well. Obviously, it's winter break, people are off school, off of work. But specifically for that non-resident youth, we reached out and worked directly with a couple social media accounts that are very popular in the St. Louis area. I invited them in for a free visit, gave them a tour of the whole space, and they then posted about it. And there was no expectation for them to post. There was no exchange of anything. I just wanted to be like, hey, we're new, come check us out, we're awesome. And so I worked with individually with these top three at Play STL, at St. Louis Moms, and at Explore STL Parks. And then since then, other accounts have seen our videos come to visit us and made their own. So I just put one of them on there, that two in blue. So that spike, especially in that non-resident youth, is that direct correlation of these social media posts and people coming in to the building. And obviously, the more people, the increased fees. For our whole 6-month period with our fees, we brought in a little over $19,000 just in day use fees. And again, that January spike was a big contribution to that. And so it also just plays into how important that marketing is, and especially that social media marketing. I even had my neighbor was like, oh, hey, I saw this video, don't you work here? And I was like, yeah, I do. I don't, if you wanna see any of the videos, I did link them, but we don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
watch the videos.
Well, the St. Louis Moms one hit. Where did I saw that someplace,
Facebook.
was it Facebook that but there was a lot of,
Yeah,
I got
and
a lot
so
of
these
play.
numbers that I pulled from the videos are directly from Instagram. And then we have partnered with St. Louis Moms. In March, we did a shop and swap for kids' clothing and toys and stuff. And that was here, and we did a partnership with them on that one.
it's pretty incredible to see that, you know, where we were and then to go see kind of directly correlated from Instagram and Facebook. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I mean, it's grassroots, it's what, you know, parents are following, you know? They're the ones who are carting these kids around to come to places, and it was pretty amazing to see that playground be packed with people and from all over, not just St. Louis either, so.
Yeah, and we can also still see, cause again, I follow these accounts and stuff, and we'll be on a list of good things to do when it's hot, or great new places to check out. So it is ongoing, but I think that direct marketing, like this shows how important that is. Yeah, and then that other spike, if you go back to the graph in May, that correlates to school being out. And then it does dip to June, but that's because we're only halfway through June. Sure. So, yeah, those are some trends in our daily fee emissions. And then, for our survey, this was sent out, let's see, in April. Really wanting to get feedback for what people are thinking, how we can improve, how we can grow, was obviously the main purpose of the survey. So the question themes, and the survey was, it had like skip logic in it. So if you answered one question about being a member, you would be asked certain questions.
yes.
If you said you were a non-member, you would be asked different questions.
Oh, okay.
If you asked then I asked, if you had kids, you would get asked the playground questions. So again, for members, what benefits they would like to see that they're not getting, how satisfied they are with their membership. The non-members, what deters them from signing up, and again, what benefits they would like to see that would maybe make them sign up. Feedback on our program, so what type of programs and services that they would want to see. The playground was directly related to our structured drop-off play hours. A lot of the feedback we got was around like childcare and wanting more hours. So this really helped. We just implemented new drop-off hours in the playground, so this helped with that. And then our marketing and website, and yeah, our overall. And then, so our survey outreach, so it was emailed through Constant Contact to 5,800 people. About half those opened it, and then 194 clicked on the link. I did 2 social media posts, and then I had QR codes posted around here. And then the survey completion, we had an 80% completion rate of people who started taking the survey. 70% were residents, 30% were non-residents, and then 48% were members, and 52% were non-members.
So it's pretty, I mean, those are, for those of you that don't
Yeah.
do surveys, or,
That's right.
I mean, I know we've all opened one and been like, oh, this is gonna take another 6 minutes, I'm out. But that 80% of the people go in there, they clearly at least have passion enough to give us their thoughts, positive or negative. So we're very happy with that completion rate and to get as many surveys as we got.
So how often are you planning to do this?
So, I think like we just did a 6 month, so probably again, like at that, around that year mark.
Mhm.
And then, yeah,
I think probably that some more targeted surveys, regarding programs too.
yes.
We do currently do surveys after each youth sports season, but I also think we could do additional ones after other programs and contractual things. One of the things we wanna do is reach out to people who have signed up for personal training sessions to see, get their thoughts. So I don't think it necessarily needs to be these big, huge surveys, but also kind of those small ones where we can get valuable information there as well.
And then for the survey themes and actions, so I went through all of the surveys, all of the survey information, and I made themes and I organized it and everything. I love spreadsheets. It was very fun. So for each of the themes, we can take an action item. I also like to think of feedback as like an ugly sweater. Sometimes you just have to smile and say thank you, but you don't have to wear it. But in this,
Yes.
but in this, there is a lot of great simple things. There are easy things that like we've already implemented. There are some that will take a little longer to implement. But for overall, just like more community support activities, so that could look like different meetup groups or having like the canned food drives, winter coat drives, toy drives to help support our community. We are a community center. With marketing in our website, creating a monthly activities calendar, which again, I created and it's updated obviously every month, that gives that big picture of what we're doing. Because you get this activity guide and there's just so much in it. That was an easy way to say, look, this is everything that we're doing for the month. For gym and fitness, expanding our fitness class offerings, which Hannah, we're so excited that she's here. Well, she was here, she's already like jumped right in and started contacting instructors and getting new fitness classes on the schedule.
She's taking every one of the classes herself,
And then she's taking,
Oh, my goodness.
even some of the senior classes. So she's in there, she wants to see what we're offering and find ways to
To make me
promote it.
feel bad.
But she has convinced everybody in the office to take a class Friday morning.
I got taken the class Friday morning.
What is that one?
Strength, tone, and fitness.
Strength on and fitness. So we're gonna be a bunch of muscular people in this Parks and Rec department too. So it is, that's great. That's what we needed in fitness. Somebody who had that background with fitness and fitness classes, and Hannah's also working on her personal training certification too.
Okay.
So that's and it expressed interest in wanting to take class certifications through Les Mills, which we coordinate with. So certainly great to have that fitness, because of all the brain trust that we have here, fitness was our one thing that we didn't have like a dedicated person for. We thought we could kind of all just, combine our knowledge, but fitness is pretty fickle, and the machines they use, the equipment they want, and the classes that they take are ever changing, and having somebody who has, an idea of that is very valuable for us.
And then let's see, programs, more diversity and programs for all ages. I feel like we have a gap in that late elementary to like pre-teen age and what we offer. So we're looking at different programming for those ages, and then membership, really focusing on like our corporate memberships and reaching out to all of the like businesses and organizations around.
One question on the community support. Are you coordinating within all of that? Because I know, for instance, the firefighters do some can drives. The police, I think, are doing things. How are we working?
Yeah, and that is still something that's like in the works.
Oh.
We're planning on doing it, but nothing has been planned.
Okay.
That.
Got it. The internal coordination of
Yes.
different different activities?
Our toy drive and some of the other things that we did for, this holiday season, they were coordinated with them.
Okay, so we
So,
support,
we
we
do-
support it,
A little, yeah, obviously,
could
you
be
know,
do more.
we used to do a lot of APA things, independent of what fire and police were doing.
Yeah.
That is the,
The dog,
yeah,
the.
the-
Oh, the APA folks over there, yeah.
So, but now trying to also to kind of let theirs grow and thrive.
Sure.
And not be doing the same thing over here. So we're trying to let everybody kind of get their own piece of the pie, but also, you know, working together when we can for things like that. It's just a no-brainer.
Patrick, I don't know if this falls on, I'm sure it does, is, you know, like the dog park. How is that going?
It does. We certainly, we sell all the dog licenses and we coordinate all the code for the dog park through here, through our department.
I
And they
drive
also,
by there, something, there's a lot of people.
there is, we've got a lot of members. A lot of them are resident. We have a handful that are non-residents. It's a small dog park. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when you know, some of the other ones are, you know, quite large or have spots where you can, you know, do different things, train your dogs. So, for what ours is, it gets a ton of use.
Yeah.
So,
Did I see some of your dogs over there the other day? Yeah, I saw these small ponies. But, now, my understanding is there's a requirement for dog licenses.
Mhm.
Is that done through city center or is that done through here? Or how?
we do it through here and we coordinate with, you know, they can do it at the city center too. And
Okay.
we send out the.
So we cross sell.
Because honestly, so many people still go to the city center because that's what they have always been told to do. So I think we wanted to make sure that we're not saying, oh, sorry, you gotta go over there.
Right.
There's nothing worse than
Yeah.
telling
Oh,
someone
yeah.
to go back over to a different building, so.
Okay.
All right, and then, for kind of dig into member, responses, so our member demographics, again, of who took the survey, 72% residents, 28% non-residents. And then there's a question of how satisfied they were with their membership, 0 to 10. And so, the average was an 80% satisfaction rating, which I feel like is pretty good.
Yeah.
But can always be better.
Sure.
And then just a few things specifically from the member feedback, which a lot of these are already planned or are in the works of like being implemented.
Right.
Next slide. And then I'll let you kind of read through some of these quotes. These are direct quotes from the survey, what people think, what people feel when they come in here.
Is this in the packet?
It's not, so the slideshow is not, but I mean, there are thousands of, you know, different quotes. We did cherry pick some of the positive ones, and I'm happy to send a slideshow out. So
Yeah, if you could,
Yeah.
post.
I was gonna print it and put it.
No, yeah.
I can certainly.
We don't need to kill the trees.
These were cherry picked positive ones. Now, we're not, you know, naive to think that they're all gonna be positive. So we do have on the next one, we did receive some.
I was gonna say, which
Yeah,
are the top 3 complaints we got?
So I will tell you, number one, no pool.
Right,
I
well,
was gonna say that.
we knew that.
There were, hold on, I made a tally. 31 people who said,
Which is of the members or of the?
oh, this is of the whole
Okay, okay.
survey. Yeah, that was definitely the number one. If you want to go to the next slide, I can see which ones, and then these were, yeah, like a few, and again, positive feedback is great, but constructive feedback is gonna
Sure.
is going to be what makes us better. So, yeah, about our cleaning service, which we have implemented like notes on a board to communicate like what things need to be cleaned. And I feel like we had issues before and those have been slowly, like addressed and we're getting to a good place with
And it's
that.
interesting too, for every person that says something like that, you have somebody, I love coming in there, it's clean, it smells great, everything's always perfectly stocked. I'm just like, it's very
Well,
interesting.
some of it's variable when they're here too.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
So they come overnight, so if you're
Yeah.
there in the morning, this place is gonna be clean, and of course.
And different people have, from my business,
So I was
I
curious,
just what clean is.
what I was looking for is, are there things we can literally improve upon? And then
Yes.
the things that we're not gonna do,
Yes.
like at a pool.
Yeah.
The other feedback that surprised me walking around is how many people don't know we have a splash pad open at Villa.
Mhm.
Even people that are using Villa, and I'll go tap the thing and they're like, had no idea,
Yeah, it's,
no clue. I don't know how they're not getting the message out.
we've kind of been talking a lot about our social media outreach. Obviously, when we do things with people like STL Moms and some of the other social media, they go like wildfire, but ours, because of the algorithm on social media, they kind of just
Yeah, shocking.
hit the same people.
So
And
when people say to me, we don't have a pool, I say, have you been over to the splash pad? They go, what splash pad?
Mhm.
And I go, it's a great splash pad. And they're like, oh, we should check that.
Well, I will say, we haven't talked about July as Parks and Rec month, but we're doing a scavenger hunt in the park, and the Villa Park Splash Pad is one of the scavenger hunt locations,
Right.
so.
see, we-
And the water play at at. Yeah.
But it's just shocking to me how many people, especially that live in that quadrant right there, that
Yeah.
don't realize.
That don't
it's
know.
like-
I go over and just press it.
it's set back there.
I see people run it.
Right.
And that's when they'll go, we didn't know this was water.
Well, I think because I see a lot of people that, if they do know it's there, they don't even know how to turn it on. I mean, the pole's there,
Yeah.
but you've gotta know and the reason I know is because I said, let's click a button, and I pressed it one day walking the dogs.
Yeah,
But, I mean, you just walk there, you have no idea
yeah,
how,
there,
you know, until you do.
Unless you're familiar with how splash pads work.
Well, true, but if you don't know splash pads there, you're probably not familiar with it.
Some are obviously there because there's rocks all over the place.
The point is, when they say there's no pool,
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
should be counteracting that with, hey, the Washington Park.
and we do, and
Yeah.
I will say, yeah, we wish we had a pool, but we do have some great splash pads. We do say that,
You know,
but,
just
yeah.
keep pointing them at it.
right.
Yeah.
Eventually they'll get the word.
Well, and it takes time. I mean, we've only been open a
Right.
short period of time and,
Exactly.
and the splash pad's even less. So,
yeah, and I would say probably it was hard too, based on the fact that we're opening and we're closing it, like.
Well, and there were issues that we had to fix.
yeah.
Correct, so it just, I don't know, maybe that are,
It's not ruined.
yeah, so now that we're gonna get all of them up and running in one summer this year, God willing. That we, I think we can really start to push those
All
out.
right.
And then what's next, been working on the fall activity guide, for programs September through December. Depending on when it goes out, we might have some August stuff in there. The front cover, hoping to use a submission from the photo contest, which we're doing for July's Parks and Rec month. But the goal is to have that in homes mid-August. It is tricky with Hannah starting, and trying to add new programs.
Sure.
Like, it's only her second week. She's jumping right into the fire, so we'll see, again, that is a hopeful timeline of having it, in homes for mid-August.
Do we find that the activity guides actually push people to that? I'm thinking in terms of online versus print, because it's not a inexpensive thing to put together
Yes, so.
from a time standpoint or a dollar standpoint.
Yes, so for the first one we did was only online, versus this last one, we did obviously print it and send it out. And I think the printed one, well, I know the printed one brought a lot more people
Okay.
in, because they would bring their activity guide and be like, oh, I saw this in here, or, oh, I didn't know you were here, So yes, I do think that
Okay.
printed activity guide, having that physical.
Okay.
And, you know, we, obviously being open 6 months, we've done a ton of programs. We had people in here, old or older, active adults, children, teenagers, people of all ages, people of all ages, okay. We've had events, you know, that catered to a very diverse crowd. We've had just a ton of people come into this building. So I wanted to highlight some of the pictures of some of the great things that we've done. We've got, you know, despite some of our shortcomings for, you know, that young, what do they call that?
Queens.
Yeah, they're still here. They still come in. If you ever come here during the week, during the summer, we've got for some reason, an insane amount of 7 foot tall teenage basketball players.
I walked in the other day and it was crazy.
There were 4 or 5 of them here, and that's somebody who is not a tall man.
Are they all in that residence?
So I believe, I know one of them is the one that, he's a kind of a big recruit across the country. He's going to USC next year. And big time basketball recruit. But his
Like a
foster
guardian.
guard, yeah, it basically has brought him in here, and then in order to help him enhance his skills, he plays against other guys who are that tall. It makes me feel.
So they usually has their practice facility.
Yeah,
There was someone, he spoke a foreign language.
yes, they're from Sudan,
And that was it.
so,
That's why I was curious if they're all in that residence or they,
yeah, so
I'm pretty sure it is.
and where he lives.
Right.
Is, so, but, I realized with all those guys coming in, their partitions aren't tall enough. Especially
Yeah.
7'3", 7'4" guys are coming in there. Yeah, they're just huge. None of our doors, like they're.
They haven't got the doors.
So
There's 6, 8 doors.
when they shoot free throws, they put their arms out and drop the ball. It's pretty insane.
And they're playing their basketball, do we know which high school?
So he had went to Vianney, and then he transferred to a school that I believe it was kind of like there was some, monetary reason for him to go there to play and develop. And then now with NCAA being what it is,
Right.
you know, financial opportunities there, but he's the number 6 recruit. The one particular guy I'm talking about was the number 6 recruit in the country, I believe, at center. And I've seen a lot of basketball players, and to see one as tall as he is and as athletic as he is, it's fun to watch. So, and he brings,
So my suggestion, get some photos, put that in the activity guide.
yep, I
Get some
think,
permission too.
yeah.
Well, this,
Because you may want that in a year or two.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
he started here. You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And they're pushing Jason Tatum all over social media.
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
Yeah.
That he's a St. Louis kid.
The St. Louis kid, and he had him picture on a school bus when he was like
Yep.
9 or
With,
10
with Matthew Tuchuk,
with Chuck.
And he's coming back to do stuff in the community.
yeah, he's
So
always been a big
I'm
champion.
just saying, we should track these kids.
I like that. Great idea. Thank you.
with memberships and when people, the day passes, do they sign a waiver that we can use their likeness when they come in? So they don't need to get it later?
I'm trying to take a picture.
But like, these pictures here, I mean,
It's great.
we can, pictures, I mean,
Yeah,
It's been a while since I read
People
this
from others.
that they
Yeah.
signed.
that's good.
Yeah, I know
But I
that
feel like
memberships
That's
do,
really
memberships do.
and honestly, if we're taking pictures, even if they do sign a waiver, we still, you know, we'll go out there and say, hey, we're gonna take some pictures. We're gonna use this, so. And 9 times out of 10, unless somebody's like in the gym sweating, they're like, yeah, fine, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, and just through the glass.
Yeah,
But I think it's just great that we're attracting people from other communities here, because I know over winter break, we had a bunch of the Ladue High basketball guys were
Yeah.
out there working out
yeah,
as a group. And I think it's just nice that we're attracting that age group. to our facility, and then I think a bunch of them are referees, right? We
Yeah.
recruited them. to
Yeah.
rap.
And that's, like you said, it's a social thing for them too, and it's kind of a word of mouth, like, oh, I work out here, oh, I'm over there, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, come over to.
The guys that are playing against them and pick up basketball out there, they're all paying a daily fee to come in.
Yeah, but
But-
it's great.
Most of the guys that bought memberships too, so it's definitely a good thing. But, some of the other things are cocktail making classes, our, pickleball mixer, which is a top, one of the top pictures next to the cocktail making. Our camps that we do inside, we did a circus camp that was, you know, I thought it was gonna be kind of hokey, and I went out there and I was like, I would have paid to watch this. Cause on Friday, they do a show for parents and grandparents, and I went out there and I was like, I had so much work to do, and I'm out here watching this circus show, cause it was so clever and creative. And the stuff that the kids did, you know, was amazing, but, like I said, we're getting that teenage crowd. A lot of people wanna go and see the guys who are coming and playing. It's pretty neat, so. We recently had a uptick in people that would want to play, and we were trying to think of the name for this today. It's like tennis soccer, where you're basically, you have the same rules as tennis, but you can't use your hands and you use a soccer ball. So we've had people come in and do that, which works on touches, which is great. You know, we have a great space there to do a lot of things, and we have the equipment to do so. Some of the rentals, we've had everything from weddings to bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, Christmas parties, holiday parties. I mean, you name it, we've had it here, business meetings, and some of the setups and what they do to this place, it doesn't even look like the same room anymore. There was one birthday party, they had filled up the hallway with like a balloon tunnel. It was I
I
mean,
think that was the Taylor Swift's birthday party.
yes, it
oh, I
was.
wasn't invited.
Yeah.
I'm a Swiftie. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to sign a contract to keep that under wraps.
We had a Swifty party.
Yeah, it's 50 party. But our cooking classes, and this was a couple's, cooking class that we did up here, our Puzzlepalooza, the picture here in the middle is from the firefighters today. You know, we had people coming here to listen to the firefighters tell stories, which is like the cutest thing you've ever seen, because you got the girls and the boys that are just like wide-eyed, you know, they're both completely into it. We've had graduation parties here, and this facility just lends itself to kind of like, it's like a chameleon. It can come and be whatever it needs to be. And the creativity that people have to use this facility in different ways is pretty amazing, so.
So how is the revenue against projections?
So our projections were based off of a July opening. We didn't open till November.
Right.
So they are definitely not where we had projected them to be. I will say that some of the things we projected membership wise aren't there. They aren't there yet. But we really blew off the doors in other parts like rentals.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Rentals of the facility has far surpassed what we expected. So, you know, we're kind of giving and taking, but membership is still one of those things that an area we can improve on, so.
So the other thing we were concerned about is that it would reduce the rentals of the parks, but we haven't seen that either, have we?
You're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it a little today, hopefully.
So Darren's not on your back.
No, I think that it takes about 3 years to
Sure.
really develop a facility like this. And the fact that we're still gradually increasing, we're not plateauing now. If that was happening,
I mean,
I
we're
think
not even
we'd be
open,
close. So,
Okay.
we're not even open a year.
yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
in 6 months, there's still people that walk in this door and say, I didn't even know it was here. Or how do I get to the old community center? They don't even know the other one's gone. So
So to the dump.
we still have a FedEx driver that still tries to deliver packages here to Grandview. So I think that it takes a little training of the mind and just, you know, some of it's word of mouth, but I think, you know, we can do better. You know, we've tried to really up our signage, you know, for our events, whether it's yard signs, banners. We gotta let people know. And I think once people come in here, they're like, it's great, it's clean, it's not, you know, overly crowded. We don't have camp kids here by design. You know, you come here in the summer, you're not walking into a zoo of children. It's, you know, a nice place to come and work out, hold a meeting. So, you know, we're building off that. That's kind of our niche. And we also are finding our demographics and seeing where they are and, you know, what we can play to. You know, we have a lot of active older adults, let's play to them, and, you know, try to factor that into.
I think also, when you walk in here, it's different than any other community center.
Yeah.
I mean, the appearance and what's that?
I walk into the center of Clayton.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Than there, it's different than
Maryland Heights.
Maryland Heights, it's different than Brentwood's ice rink over there with the, so it's,
I always like that it was kind of, when you walk in, you're kind of taken away by how beautiful the hallway is,
Yeah.
and you're like, it's just a hallway.
yeah,
And then everything that's really great about this facility is kind of just a little, you know, you gotta go down a little
yeah,
room to get there. And
Yeah.
that's, I kind of like that it hides the secrets
sure.
pretty well, but also that hallway just looks so
Yeah,
grandiose.
It's
it's great.
very well.
Yeah, okay, it's a beautiful look.
Okay. I'm up to that.
You're up.
Okay, I'm gonna steal off a little stuff that Maxine did. On the Clover, it's over 70% occupied right now.
Right.
And they are breaking ground on the Aldi's, and they're getting ready to break ground on the Baguette.
Restaurant.
Paris Baguette.
The restaurant, Paris Baguette, and I think there's a Smoothie King that's supposed to be going in there too.
I think
Yeah,
so.
so they're getting ready to do that also. They're still, working on other, the hotel, and then there's an office building, but office space is very soft right now. So they're not doing that. We had the Olivet Night Out, was very successful. It's, each, car went to 4 different places throughout the city. And the one thing I heard, it wasn't enough. We went to 4 different places. They think we should at least go to 6. So that feedback's been given back to the city administration and hopefully in the police department and fire department, so we can at least maybe get out and see more places. As far as Craig Schneider, he's been a long-term employee. He's a detective with police department. He's been there 35 years. I was his training officer. And he is retiring this week. So that's one thing that's going on in the city. The other thing is that they have covered parking for the cruisers now, and it's all solar panels, and it lights up, and that's going to be one of the new things on the website that shows that. So as far as we are still looking, we're going to be interviewing some commission applications. I'm not sure exactly how many are available, but there's some where there's 4 or 5 people, there's only 1 spot. Or there's some that, I know that the housing authority, which is down on Rockville Heights. They're looking for someone. They didn't have any applicants for that. But most of them, I think, will be filling those up in the next couple of weeks. I
Hey,
know,
Rick, if they don't fill it, does it remain open? Can people still apply?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure, but they've got to fill it. So,
So hopefully, if anyone hears us, they'll realize that we still have.
yeah, there's some openings. And we haven't made any decisions just yet. I know that our city attorney's retiring soon.
Really?
So that position's gonna be coming open and,
Retiring from all the cities, I heard, not just.
yeah, no, all of them,
Yeah.
yeah. So you saw how much I liked it. so.
Yeah, I done it first, I would have done it first.
Yeah, but I think everything, is going well right now. I mean, I think not only the residents can see changes in Olivet, but I think that, the staff is very proud of, our facilities and what's going on throughout the city, so. It's very good.
Okay, well, you know, you can take care.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, thanks, Rick. Why don't we move along? I'm not sure that anyone else is going to show, but can we go through the monthly report?
Yeah, sure. So for Rec Division, we kind of really wanted to highlight, there's a ton of things we've done in the last month, but I really wanted to kind of put on your agenda for you guys to know that July is Parks and Recreation Month. We got our proclamation from the council last night. We have themed events. If you look at the end of the table here, we have flyers for our scavenger hunt, party on the patio, our photo contest, and our yoga and meditation classes that we're going to be doing here. So we are promoting all these things in big waves over the next few weeks. July, we'll have a ton of events that are specific for Parks and Rec Month. They're a great chance for us to show off our, facility and our parks. And, there's 280 million people in the United States who visited a local park or recreation facility in the last, at least once. And we want to make sure that we're contributing, in a positive way by making sure people come to our parks and to our events. So we put together a great list of events. We will have some giveaways that are associated with those. We've got a bag tournament coming up. Like I said, we have the scavenger hunt, a pickleball tournament. So we've got just nonstop action of different things going on in the month of July to celebrate Parks and Rec Month.
What can we do to help?
That's kind of one of the things that I'm gonna talk about. There are some of these events that we will need some hands. I'm going to have Hannah and TJ reach out to everybody. Once we have, I don't want to just say, we need help with all the events. Definitely party in the patio, just gonna be a lot of different things. We do have vendors and contractors, but we can always use another set of hands to make sure things go smoothly. We'll have a lot of giveaways, and we want to make sure getting into the hands of people that, we don't want to give them away to everybody or have one guy walk away with 10 things. And so we're trying to be equitable with all that stuff and make sure that we're, being fair with some of our giveaways and make sure that, our events run smoothly. So with the amount of things that we're doing, I don't think we'll need everybody at every one, but certainly a few people here and there at some of these events would be
If you
beneficial.
could kind of give us an overall, so that we
That's the
can
one.
pick and choose.
Yes, so party in the patio, I would say, is the one that I would love to see everybody there. Some of these, our staff is doing such a great job that you don't really need to necessarily be running the event or, we've got plenty of staff and contractors for that, but it's always nice to have you guys there to help support us, I think.
And that's one of our primary reasons.
Exactly, yeah.
To be around, to support, to
And, some of these
be
events,
cheerleaders.
it really is just good to help us promote those things, like skip the scavenger hunt and the photo contest. Brian is also doing a hiking trail, like he's gonna be the docent to go and describe the trails, what's out there, what trees, what natives are, and just an opportunity for people to kind of see the behind the curtain of all the other things that we do and the things that our parks kind of hide, so to speak. Some of those trails are,
Yeah,
if you're not curious, you may never see them, and that's kind of a shame. So
yeah. I'm not curious, but my wife makes me.
I remember when I first started here, Beverly is like, I want you to do a trail tour. And I was like, trail? I've been to all these parks. I know what they are. And I went back to the trail at Stacy and I was like, we were in another world. It was unbelievable.
It's cool. That's when I go in.
The Cottonwood and then Sassafras
Yeah.
is wonderful.
They're, and you, I don't know, they're so like,
Yeah.
not like being in Olivet, you feel like you're in like the deep woods. It's
That's
great.
exactly right.
So, and that's pretty neat to have right off of one of, the busiest roads in St. Louis County. So it's pretty interesting to see that they can tuck that back there and it seems so natural. It's pretty neat.
Should have seen it 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures
Yeah.
and seeing the amount of work that they've done to, remove the invasive species, and it's crazy. I said the word that I heard the most when I started here was honeysuckle. I knew what it was, but I didn't know it was the problem that it is here. And now everywhere I go, I'm like, honeysuckle, that's gotta come out. So
Right.
it's like ingrained in my mind now. And I didn't, I never expected it to kind of take me by surprise like that. Parks has got our wonderful, beautiful, new benches in our parks. We've got, 3 benches that went in this year. They're all on a concrete pad and, they look great. We got to hope for some grass to start growing around them again. But, they look great. The benches, I mean, are absolutely.
I saw Jody's.
That's what I wanted to make a statement.
Okay.
We also have, for those of you that know, we are short a park staff member due to medical reasons. So while he's out, we needed extra hands to be kind of helping us out with our parks department, because that particular person did trash every weekend last summer and did a ton of work, trail work with Brian, and just a lot of general work in the park. So typically we hire 1 seasonal horticulturist. This year we hired 2. They're seasonal, so they'll be here through pretty much probably around the mid-October. Callie Winters is the first one. She is a environmental studies major, and this is what she wants to go into. And she wants to, start to learn about plants, trees, and Brian's taking her under her wing. And then Dave is his wife's family owns Bowwood Farms. Has anybody heard of that?
Sure.
It's and he used to run all the farm to table before Gerard Kraft took over that restaurant. He used to run the restaurant and grow all the food and bring it in there. So now, we're getting to pick his brain about, doing a community garden. He's also a good asset for Brian because he has done a lot of farm work. He's got a lot of experience with, chainsaws and, working on a farm and doing that stuff. So it's a perfect group of people to help Brian out. But also they're both willing to take on other jobs in the parks, and they're willing to help out, fill in our gaps and stuff too. So, we're glad that we got 2 great candidates, for the position, and we're with, our 1 vacancy. We wanted to make sure that we at least got a couple of people, and they're great. I mean, I tried for a week to get pictures of them, and they go, we're all sweaty. We don't want to take a picture. And I was like, all right, it's 7 a.m, get a picture. And this is at 7 a.m, and it was 100 and whatever degrees. And, they're out there at 6 a.m. now every day because of the high heat. So they're coming a little earlier, working on stuff like that. So, but a lot of stuff going on in the parks, a lot of upkeep. And finally, I know last meeting, Beverly talked a lot about the mowers, and we finally have rectified all of the spots that they've missed, and really now we're just back to struggling on water and everything and keeping everything alive. So Jim, the future agenda items on here, the only thing I have is a commission.
Yeah, did you want to make a comment?
First public comments.
Okay. Okay, you have a thing here on pavilion usage, new policy?
Yeah, so I did put that in the director's report. I didn't, put it on here. So we had, wanted to kind of give an update on that since we changed that, last year. If you go to your, director's report.
Right, okay.
We changed it from, on the weekends, you used to be able to book a AM or a PM or a full day, at Stacy. One of the reasons we switched that was for a variety of reasons. We also switched at that time the damage department, because we were getting, damage from parks, and, people would just go out of there and they didn't have a department, so they didn't care. So we're happy to say that those two things have gone according to plan. We haven't had near the amount of damage or massive cleanup of the parks because people are worried, even though it's just, $200 in some cases. But we are also making now, what would happen before is that we would get somebody who would book a Saturday at Stacy. Then 2 weeks later, we get a company or a group that said, if we want to rent the full day at Stacy, well, now we only have half of that. Because we booked an AM one, but they wanted a full day, so they're going somewhere else. So now those people that are booking them, they're having the full day, so we get the full amount of, revenue from there. And whether or not they stay the whole time, that is entirely up to them. But then we're not cleaning in the middle of the party before another party. And the damage deposit is also making sure that they clean up after themselves. And that's been a big relief for our park staff, who would typically have to clean up in the morning and then clean up after the party before the next one. And that could be pretty cumbersome depending on how the AM party was. So it's worked exactly like we wanted to. We're only 15 short of where we were the whole last year for full day rentals. And we're not even through June yet. So going according to how we thought it would. But, I certainly think that we're always constantly evaluating to see, but it's good to see that we're only that many short and we're not even through the end of the year. There are already tentative bookings for multiple weekends in July and August too, so. Good, great. So that worked according to plan for sure.
Okay, and we have the future, obviously, the commission reorganization will be next month.
Correct.
And it seems to me that we will need to forward the minutes approval, the capital plan of equipment to next, do we need to do a special meeting for that, or what's the time frame on capital improvements?
I think the main thing is it's just confirming the things that, these are the priorities in the park that we.
But we're not getting in the way of the overall budgeting process for the.
No, the budget was approved last night.
Okay, so we're.
Yeah, I would say it's also with capital too, is that they're all future, they're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can defer that.
Yeah.
Okay. And not,
You're not seeing.
and not upset Darren or the council or anything. Yeah, okay. One of the things that I noticed that we did not do is hearing from citizens. I don't have citizens.
So I wanted to say a word or two, as a citizen, not as a member of the board. So I'm one of the people that put a bench in, and I can't say enough to thank the staff, Peyton, Beverly, and the whole staff. They did a fantastic job. Working with them was a piece of cake. And it was fantastic. And just for the record, if people are curious, it's a great joint project. It's in memory of my sister, and the people I work with wanted to know what to do when she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're contributors from all over the country that helped me fund that bench. And they thought it was a great idea to put it in a public park. So again, I can't thank them enough, and I would encourage anyone who's interested in pursuing putting more benches, and we can use many more.
And that's at Villa.
It's a villa, and I believe it's the one under the pin oak.
Yes,
Right?
It's just beautiful.
That you're right.
yes.
I don't know, I picked that one in particular for you.
Yeah.
I was like,
I understand that,
Wait,
and it's shaded.
Mhm.
A friend, Jody's best friend, and her dog were over there at 1 o'clock the other day when it was 98 degrees, and she's like, it's so shaded. It was so nice, and I was like, it's a good spot.
Yeah,
Um,
out of all the bench.
but the bench is beautiful.
Yeah.
And to tell you the feedback I've gotten, I took some video from my work colleagues, and the feedback I've gotten on how nice the bench itself, the design of that bench and how pretty they are. These are people that live in California and live in other large communities, and they really like the bench. So I appreciate that you guys took some care in choosing what you're putting in.
Yeah.
And so the other one is just up from that. Where's the third one?
The third one's at Stacy.
At Stacy.
Yeah, well, I need to follow up on that. I have a bench there for our family. And, we go to the, it's remembering my wife's parents. And, and just like Sue said, it's a wonderful, I go to Stacy Park more than I go to the cemetery. And every time I go by the bench, we rub our hands across the,
It's a great,
it's a great,
It's a great
great thing. And there are a lot of benches that need to be replaced, and this would be, it's a great tribute to a lot of, it doesn't have to be in memory of someone, it could be in honor of someone.
Exactly.
There's a lot of reasons, and
and it's nice to know people are using it.
yes.
Because every time my friends are over there, they're like, there's a lot of activity in those parks.
Yeah,
And that's why I was asking about the rentals. It seems like the pavilion is getting used much, much more. And so I think it's a combination, but the updated amenities in all the parks
Yeah.
are really attracting
Yeah.
people. So we can use, clearly, we could use more benches along, especially the new paved areas.
Mhm.
yeah,
And if we could get rid of some of the
Yeah.
not so nice benches.
yeah, I mean, there's some that should be taken out.
But not the glider, right, Jim?
Well, I was thinking gliders, but we need to fix those.
Too disparate, but there's another wood metal combo bench in Villa, which is okay, but these are really.
Yeah,
These are special. They're-
Well, and then with the other ones that we put in as part of the Prop C.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the metal ones,
But yeah, I agree that the gliders are,
but the aesthetics of this bench.
yes.
And you're exactly right, it doesn't have to be a memory, but the engraving,
Yeah,
I kind of wish it would come out more in the pictures, which is kind
Yeah.
of hard to do, but, the other thing I was curious about, I know there's a page, supposedly a digital page with donations, are we putting pictures of the benches up on that page? To show how nice they are?
I wanna say yes, but I have not
So-
looked at that page, but, we're also looking into ways to where people who maybe don't even need a bench, or don't need to pick a particular project, to make it easier for them to donate and fund.
Towards,
Yes.
Yeah,
like a bench fund.
exactly, so, we're looking to set some of that up for on our website, to where we can just,
Because it's a functional.
It is,
I mean, it's really functional,
and,
right?
and it's nice looking, and I know that, former police chief Hank Davenport, there's a bench in the works.
Yes.
For him too,
I heard that.
and,
And the one out here for.
For Barb.
Honor of Barb is beautiful. as well.
yeah,
Now, are we able to put benches along the greenway, or what's the situation with that? As they go
I
through our
believe so.
parks?
yeah, I believe so. I don't see why,
I believe so, but I think they were gonna try to put it in the parks first,
yeah.
yeah,
as opposed to that, because they have funding for that as well.
yeah.
So I don't know, I thought she was trying to earmark them more towards. the places
Which
they don't-
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
And I've had, our bench, it's our second one, and the other one was nice, it was just a plaque in the thing, and it was worn out.
yeah.
These.
With
these
it
will-
routed into the wood.
Yeah, these will be a lot nicer.
Yeah,
They're just
this
pretty.
one will last
It's
for,
just a
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
kind of on the same note, I had a member here who, wanted to make a cash donation to cover the cost of getting 3 brand new pickleball nets. And ours that we had bought, they held up for a while, 6 months of constantly being moved, put off the side and back. You know, it took their toll on them. So this particular person wants to write almost a $5,000 check to replace 3 pickleball nets. And I've worked in other cities before and I
Is
have
that-
never seen.
Is that coming in through the foundation? then?
I was gonna say, is that the foundations?
He basically came to us
Okay.
and they said that they wanted us to find something that we could, that we were looking at. And we said, yeah, we can do it. We can add it to our budget. That's our plan, was to do that. And he said, well, I'd like to cover as a anonymous donation. So
Okay.
that's,
Yeah, through the foundation. I think the foundation was set up to take some of those.
and that's eventually,
Yeah.
And I did mention that to our finance department too, to talk to Darren about that, because there's some benefits to donating,
Sure.
and, whether it's a tax benefit, or, in some cases, just you just want to do it
Sure.
to do it.
So,
But,
for the record, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Is because the bench was purchased through that,
Did you do it through the foundation?
it's tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The donation is
Mine
tax
was,
deductible, right?
mine was too, yeah.
So if someone wants to do that,
Because that was
the
just
whole-
created about
in the last year,
last year or so.
yeah, I would say pretty relatively.
Yeah,
which makes it more seamless to do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's probably even more
So-
important that they get more things like
So
this.
we should, I mean, I would encourage anyone who's interested in making a donation for amenities of all kinds.
Yeah,
It just doesn't have to be benches, it could be
Right.
all kinds of.
Anything that
Programs, yeah.
is necessary in the park, right? I think it's a great arm to be able to do that and fund it with private funds
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
instead of,
And you don't have to go through the budget process.
instead of relying on grants
Yeah.
and other means. I think there are plenty of people who are happy to use our parks
Mhm.
for free, but wanna, I mean, I was amazed at the generosity of my friends and family members. Cause they're like, sure, it's a public space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I walk through Shaw Park, and I don't want to get off on a tangent. They have benches too. I always look at the benches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've done it nationwide.
Yeah, nationwide,
Sent
yeah.
Many pictures.
go to the botanical garden,
Things that are
look at the
good,
benches.
things that
See
are
the-
good and things that aren't so good.
right, just need to sit a lot. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I like to sit.
I didn't take a breather here.
Yeah, my wife,
But seriously, you go to Shaw Park and a lot of that is, business funds that have paid for that stuff.
yeah,
And we could do the same thing with
Yeah.
private,
Mhm.
and just have an article. In one of the, flags,
Several articles.
or several.
Yes.
yeah.
I have one last thing.
Okay.
And, have you ever thought about having, ultimate frisbee? As a sport? I mean,
So we talked about disc
Is this
golf.
ultimate frisbee or frisbee golf? Because they're different.
now
We
this
talked about-
ultimate frisbee
We talked.
It's like football.
it's like football and soccer.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
bang your head.
yeah.
But just think about it then.
Yeah.
Because my grandson is from California.
Really into it? Yeah.
He's into it in high school. I mean, I never heard of it,
Right.
but it's cool.
It is, it's fun.
And now he's at WashU and he's on the ultimate frisbee team.
Oh, they've got one?
Yes,
Oh,
and
wow.
he travel around the country. It's not like, I don't know, it's like a club thing, but they go all over the country.
Yeah.
And they were in nationals and all this stuff. And so I have to go to all these.
Both of those were discussed during the master plan.
Yeah.
Review
Mhm.
before,
But frisbee golf is the one that has the goals all over
Yes.
the place.
yeah,
Is ultimate
Disc
frisbee the
golf.
same?
yeah,
No, ultimate frisbee is just like playing,
like a,
soccer,
like on a football race.
or football. It's on a football field and
It is a lot of fun.
So one of the areas that was discussed was this big field out here in Morrison Park, right?
Yeah, and that's on, one of our
Which-
three things for Warsaw, that improvement is, one of them
Yeah.
is updating the fields, and obviously you can go one end of the extreme to the other, just redo the grass, grade it, whatever, or you turf, so
Yeah.
there's all kinds of opportunities for that.
So
So he practices at the old CBC.
Yeah, no, that's Wash.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Wash, you took that over and I mean,
Can
undertaking.
I ask one more
fund
question
too.
while we're on the topic of things going in? The current state of the cricket pitch at Stacy, it's on hold.
Yeah, I mean, I think it had been on our agenda for quite a long time. When I first got here, we met with them and they were very gung ho about doing it. And, contributing to funding for it.
Uh-huh.
And then there would be some reaching out, hey, we're having a meeting, would you like to come, talk to the commission? And we wouldn't hear anything. So it's one of the things but they still go out there and play cricket on the weekends.
Cause that's the other sport.
Yeah.
You could do,
Yeah.
you could do multi.
Yeah,
Right, so that's the other space.
it's not other,
you know,
a lot of places don't have.
I don't think we would ever want to do anything that wasn't multi-use.
Right.
Yes, have to do, absolutely.
But those are like the three things, I don't know if they could coexist, but they probably could coexist.
Yeah, I think depending, that's the beauty of, if you do something like a turf field.
So I'm stealing the thunder out of the planning.
No, that's fine. Well, I mean, we can add
I'm
that.
glad he brought it up, cause that's,
Well, we've got, I mean, we'll go through that next month and we can go from there.
Yeah, and I did everything I could in Beverly's absence. It's been kind of a hectic last couple of weeks.
Sure.
Without her gone, but, yeah, I did have it, accepted from Keisha.
Sure.
And so, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna get a quorum to vote on anything tonight, so I apologize, but.
Yeah, I called it to order. We have things that we needed action on.
so we'll table.
So we'll
and then
we'll table the action items. And so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
The question, what is for the future item, commission reorganization? Everybody knows
But
that.
next month,
Yeah.
there'll be new appointees from council.
Okay.
And then it's also chair, vice chair, in terms of reorganization, in terms of what we're going to be doing. And I will say up front, I've been doing it for too long. I stayed with it because of Prop C to carry that through. So I look for other people to carry the flag. And we will decide amongst ourselves what's going on with that.
Okay.
So that is what I see. So, since this was more I don't know that we didn't establish a quorum. So in terms of agenda, so I don't think that we have to do that. And so I appreciate everyone that is here.
Yes, thank you guys for your input too,
Yeah.
for, give me a lot of things to,
Guys did a great
So-
job.
It was wonderful. And so I think what we will do is we'll close out the recorded part of this.
Brilliant.
And then we can,
They look really good.
so. So, Bill, just in turn, are we all?